Here's something that should alarm every health-conscious shopper in America. More than 3 out of 4 honey bottles sitting on grocery store shelves right now aren't actually real honey. They've been diluted with industrial corn syrup, completely stripped of their natural pollen, or smuggled in from China through complex fraud networks designed to deceive you, that beautiful golden jar you've been buying. There's a shocking possibility it contains nothing more than artificially flavored sugar water with a honey label slapped on it. We're sounding the alarm today about a sweetener that millions of American families use daily without questioning its authenticity. The disturbing reality is that you could be serving this to your kids in their breakfast, mixing it into your morning tea, or using it as a so-called healthy alternative, all while being completely fooled. In this investigation, we're pulling back the curtain on the 15 most fraudulent honey brands currently deceiving American consumers. These are household names that have successfully fooled millions through clever marketing and misleading labels. But here's the good news. Stay with me because I'm going to share the 5 most trustworthy honey brands that have been verified for purity and authenticity. Plus, I'll teach you exactly how to identify fake honey using simple tests you can perform right in your own kitchen. Don't click away because choosing the wrong bottle could literally mean you're drizzling chemical-laden syrup onto your family's food every single day. Let's dive deep into the 15 most deceptive honey brands currently sold across America. One of these contaminated jars might be in your kitchen cabinet right now. Let's discover the truth together. 1. Subi Honey. Subi has dominated American supermarket shelves for generations with its instantly recognizable cartoon mascot and wholesome Midwestern image. This Iowa-based honey cooperative has spent decades cultivating a reputation as the ultimate all-American honey choice, trusted by families from coast to coast. However, the wholesome image on the label bears little resemblance to what federal investigators uncovered about their actual business practices. Back in 2008, federal law enforcement agencies exposed Subi as a central player in what became one of America's most extensive honey fraud operations. The investigation revealed that Subi had been systematically buying massive quantities of illegally imported Chinese honey that had been deliberately routed through third-party countries specifically to dodge anti-dumping tariffs and import restrictions. The Chinese honey they purchased had been subjected to ultrafiltration processes that completely eliminated every trace of pollen, effectively erasing any possibility of determining where the honey actually originated. This matters more than you might realize. Chinese honey operations have been repeatedly caught using banned antibiotics such as chloramphenicol in their hives, and testing has revealed concerning levels of heavy metals and unauthorized sweetening agents. When honey undergoes ultrafiltration to remove all pollen, international food safety organizations no longer classify it as legitimate honey, yet it continues being sold to unsuspecting consumers at premium prices. Subi ultimately paid out millions in legal fines and settlement agreements. Independent laboratory analysis conducted by Food Safety News discovered that numerous Subi product lines contained absolutely zero detectable pollen. Consumers who purchase Subi products have consistently reported that the taste profile seems artificial, with a consistency remarkably similar to corn syrup rather than authentic honey. From its position as a trusted American institution to becoming a textbook case of corporate deception, Subi demonstrates that friendly branding and nostalgic marketing cannot substitute for genuine quality and honesty. Unfortunately, Subi is far from the only major brand caught engaging in these deceptive practices. 2. Great Value, Walmart. For millions of budget-conscious American families, Walmart's Great Value private label represents the default choice for grocery staples. However, when it comes to their honey products, that rock-bottom price tag comes with consequences that go far beyond your wallet. Comprehensive testing conducted by Food Safety News produced shocking results. Every single Great Value honey sample they analyzed, literally 100% of them, contained not even a single grain of pollen. This finding should immediately raise red flags for any informed consumer because authentic honey always, without exception, contains pollen particles. It's the primary method experts use to verify both authenticity and geographic origin. When honey gets ultrafiltered to completely eliminate pollen, the motivation is typically to conceal that the honey originated from China or other questionable sources with poor quality control. The ultrafiltration process doesn't just hide origins. It actively strips away the beneficial enzymes, natural antioxidants, and vital nutrients that make genuine honey a superfood in the first place. Walmart sources their great value honey from multiple countries and blends them together in ways that make genuine traceability virtually impossible. Their labels deliberately use vague language like packed in the USA or product of multiple countries that obscures the actual origin story. Consumer complaints about great value honey have become widespread across online reviews and forums. Shoppers consistently report watery, thin consistency, odd chemical aftertastes, and honey that remains liquid indefinitely without ever crystallizing, which represents highly unusual behavior, strongly suggesting either heavy industrial processing or active adulteration with cheaper ingredients. At less than $3 per container, great value honey might initially seem like a bargain, but you're definitely not getting actual honey for that price. You're purchasing a heavily processed imposter product, and Walmart isn't operating in isolation here. 3. Good and Gather, Target. Target's Good and Gather private label collection launched with significant fanfare, marketing itself as a cleaner, more transparent evolution beyond traditional store brands. The packaging features modern, minimalist design elements carefully crafted to communicate trustworthiness and quality. Unfortunately, when it comes to the actual honey inside those attractive bottles, Good and Gather falls into precisely the same trap as Walmart's offering. Independent laboratory testing has consistently demonstrated that Good and Gather honey products also lack any detectable pollen content, providing clear evidence of ultrafiltration and questionable sourcing practices. Just like Great Value, the labeling intentionally remains vague, listing multiple countries of origin without providing any specific details about sourcing or production. Target's marketing materials claim that Good and Gather products meet rigorous quality standards, but consumers searching for third-party certifications on their honey bottles will find exactly none. There's no True Source certified seal, no USDA organic certification on standard varieties, and absolutely no transparency regarding which apiaries or beekeeping cooperatives actually supply the honey. Customer reviews posted directly on Target's own website paint a consistent picture of disappointment. Shoppers describe Good and Gather honey as bland and lifeless, runny in consistency, and tasting more like sugar water than anything resembling authentic honey. Multiple reviews specifically mention that the product doesn't crystallize even after sitting open for many months, which represents a telltale sign of either adulteration or heavy processing. At approximately $4 for a 12-ounce container, Good and Gather honey costs slightly more than Walmart's version, but you're still not receiving authentic honey for that money. You're paying a premium for attractive packaging and corporate marketing campaigns, definitely not for purity or quality. 4. Walgreens Honey. Walgreens operates as one of America's largest and most trusted pharmacy chains, with locations in virtually every community nationwide. Many health-conscious consumers naturally assume that products sold by a healthcare-focused retailer must meet higher standards for quality and safety. That assumption, particularly when it comes to honey, couldn't be further from reality. Comprehensive testing conducted by Food Safety News revealed that Walgreens store brand honey contains absolutely zero pollen, placing it definitively in the category of ultra-filtered, completely untraceable honey products. The honey gets sourced from undisclosed international suppliers and almost certainly gets blended together to minimize costs as much as possible. Consumers examining the label will find no harvest dates, no information about beekeepers, and zero third-party certifications anywhere on the packaging. Customer reviews for Walgreens honey consistently describe products with distinct chemical aftertastes, excessively thin consistency, and artificial flavor profiles. Multiple customers have reported experiencing gastrointestinal discomfort after regularly consuming Walgreens honey, raising legitimate concerns about possible contaminants or undisclosed additives in the product. One particularly blunt reviewer stated that this product doesn't taste anything like honey, instead tasting like someone melted down candy and simply bottled the result. The fact that a major healthcare retailer with a reputation built on trust would sell such obviously low-quality products represents a particularly troubling betrayal of consumer confidence. 5. CVS Honey. CVS operates as Walgreens' primary competitor in the American pharmacy market, and their store brand honey products demonstrate equally disappointing quality. Just like Walgreens, comprehensive testing has found that CVS Honey contains no detectable pollen whatsoever, providing clear evidence of ultrafiltration and highly questionable sourcing practices. The product comes packaged in generic plastic squeeze bottles with absolute bare minimum labeling and zero transparency about geographic origin. The packaging provides no mention of specific farms, beekeeping cooperatives, or even basic information about which countries contributed to the blended product. Laboratory testing has also raised serious concerns about the sugar composition profile of CVS Honey. Authentic honey contains a complex mixture of natural sugars, predominantly fructose and glucose in very specific ratios determined by the flowers bees visited. Multiple batches of CVS Honey have shown suspicious sugar patterns that strongly suggest the deliberate addition of high fructose corn syrup or rice syrup, both representing cheap filler ingredients commonly used in honey fraud operations. Customer feedback for CVS Honey has been overwhelmingly negative across multiple review platforms. Shoppers consistently describe the product as watery, completely flavorless, and bearing no resemblance to authentic honey. Several reviews specifically mention that CVS Honey ferments unusually quickly, which represents another clear sign of poor quality or active adulteration. One frustrated customer wrote that they purchased this product thinking they were getting a reasonable deal, but it tastes exactly like liquid candy, and they ultimately threw it away. For a healthcare company that publicly claims to prioritize customer wellness, knowingly selling fake honey represents a shocking and cynical breach of the trust consumers place in them. 6. Kroger Honey. Kroger operates as one of the largest supermarket chains across America, with their private label honey products sold in thousands of locations under various regional brand names, including Ralph's, Fred Meyer, and King Soopers. Regardless of which regional label appears on the bottle, Kroger Honey faces serious and well-documented authenticity problems. Food Safety News laboratory analysis found that Kroger Honey samples tested completely pollen-free, definitively placing them in the ultra-filtered category. This complete absence of pollen means the honey's geographic origin cannot be verified through standard testing methods, and there's absolutely no way to test for potential contaminants or confirm basic quality standards. Kroger sources their honey from multiple international suppliers and blends products together in ways designed to minimize costs and maintain consistent supply chains rather than ensure quality. What makes Kroger's situation particularly frustrating for consumers is that the company has faced repeated public criticism and even formal lawsuits over deliberately misleading label claims. Multiple Kroger Honey products featured prominent images of bees and flowers alongside phrases like pure and natural, yet independent testing revealed the actual product inside had been heavily processed and completely stripped of its natural, beneficial components. In 2019, a class action lawsuit formally accused Kroger of knowingly selling adulterated honey while actively misleading consumers about its purity and quality. Customers frequently complain in online reviews that Kroger Honey has distinctly odd flavor profiles with descriptors including metallic, burnt, or chemical-like tastes. Many reviewers have specifically noted that it doesn't crystallize properly like real honey should, instead foaming when stirred and maintaining an unnaturally long shelf life. With Kroger's absolutely massive distribution network spanning the entire country, potentially millions of Americans are unknowingly consuming fake honey products on a regular basis. 7. Safeway. Safeway, which is now owned by the Albertsons corporate umbrella, operates stores under multiple brand names throughout the United States. Their store brand honey products, sold under labels including Signature Select and O Organics, have been repeatedly flagged by consumer advocates and testing organizations for significant quality concerns. Surprisingly, even their premium organic honey lines have raised serious questions among honey purity experts. Comprehensive testing conducted by Food Safety News revealed that Safeway honey products, including several that carry organic certifications, contained absolutely no detectable pollen. This finding is particularly shocking for products marketed as organic, which consumers reasonably expect to meet substantially higher quality standards. The complete absence of pollen strongly suggests that even Safeway's supposedly premium honey lines undergo ultrafiltration and potentially get sourced from questionable suppliers operating with minimal oversight. Safeway has been named as a defendant in multiple lawsuits, specifically focused on honey labeling fraud. In one particularly notable case, plaintiffs formally alleged that Safeway's products labeled as pure honey were actually blended with significantly cheaper sugar syrups and then sold to consumers at inflated premium prices. The company chose to settle the lawsuit out of court but never formally admitted any wrongdoing or made any significant publicized changes to their sourcing practices or quality control procedures. Consumer reviews for Safeway honey products remain mixed at best. Many shoppers report that Safeway honey works acceptably for baking applications but tastes absolutely terrible when consumed raw or used in applications where flavor matters. Common complaints consistently include bland, lifeless taste, strange texture, and simply not tasting like honey at all. Multiple customers have reported experiencing allergic reactions or digestive issues after consuming Safeway honey, raising legitimate concerns about possible contaminants or undisclosed additives in the product. For a major grocery chain with significant market share across multiple states, this consistent failure to provide authentic honey represents a serious and ongoing betrayal of consumer trust. 8. Billy Bee Honey. Billy Bee represents a Canadian honey brand that has gained significant popularity among American consumers, primarily marketed as pure, natural honey with friendly, approachable branding. The colorful packaging and wholesome marketing imagery naturally suggest quality and trustworthiness to shoppers. Unfortunately, the reality behind those cheerful labels tells a considerably darker story. Within Canada, Billy Bee has faced multiple public controversies specifically related to sourcing practices and labeling accuracy. Investigative journalism has revealed that the company was systematically importing large quantities of Chinese honey and blending it with smaller amounts of Canadian honey, then deliberately marketing the final blended product as product of Canada to command premium prices. This practice, which industry insiders refer to as honey laundering, allows companies to disguise cheap and potentially contaminated Chinese honey as premium North American honey to unsuspecting consumers. Laboratory testing conducted in both Canada and the United States has found that certain Billy Bee honey products either lack detectable pollen or show clear signs of adulteration. The company has also faced criticism for using ultrafiltration processes, which completely remove beneficial compounds and make origin tracing impossible. Canadian consumer protection agencies have issued formal warnings about Billy Bee's labeling practices, and the brand has been named as a defendant in class action lawsuits alleging deliberate fraud. American consumers who purchase Billy Bee products expecting pure Canadian honey are frequently receiving a blended product with completely unclear origins and questionable quality standards. 9. Dutch Gold Honey. Dutch Gold operates as a Pennsylvania-based honey company that has been continuously operating for over 160 years. With such an extraordinarily long history in American beekeeping, many consumers naturally assume the brand must be trustworthy and maintain traditional quality standards. However, in recent decades, Dutch Gold has found itself at the center of multiple serious honey fraud scandals that have permanently damaged its reputation. In 2013, Dutch Gold was formally implicated in a major federal investigation focused on Chinese honey smuggling operations. The company was specifically accused of knowingly and deliberately purchasing illegally imported Chinese honey that had been transshipped through third-party countries for the explicit purpose of evading U.S. anti-dumping tariffs. Court documents revealed that Dutch Gold had purchased literally millions of pounds of suspicious honey from middlemen who were well known in the industry for laundering Chinese honey through fake supply chains. The company ultimately paid substantial fines and legal settlements, but the damage to its reputation proved permanent and irreversible. Testing conducted by Food Safety News found that Dutch Gold honey samples were completely pollen-free, confirming ultrafiltration and highly questionable sourcing practices. Consumers who purchased Dutch Gold products have consistently complained that the honey tastes inconsistent, with some batches tasting relatively normal, while others taste distinctly off or have chemical notes. Despite its deep American roots and extraordinarily long operational history, Dutch Gold has definitively proven that longevity and heritage cannot substitute for integrity and honest business practices. 10. Gambers Honey. Gambers Honey, another Pennsylvania-based honey company, was once considered a respected name in American beekeeping circles. However, in 2021, the company found itself thrust into the center of what became one of the largest and most shocking honey fraud scandals in recent U.S. history. Federal prosecutors formally charged Gambers with conspiracy to defraud the United States government by systematically importing massive quantities of Chinese honey that was deliberately disguised as honey originating from other countries. The elaborate scheme involved falsified documentation, completely fake certifications, and sophisticated laundering operations specifically designed to evade anti-dumping duties and import restrictions. Official court records revealed that Gambers had successfully imported tens of millions of pounds of Chinese honey over a period of several years, costing American taxpayers millions of dollars in lost tariff revenue. The honey in question had been ultra-filtered to remove all pollen traces, potentially contained contaminants, and was systematically sold to completely unsuspecting American consumers and food manufacturers as pure and natural honey. Gambers Company, Gambers executives ultimately pled guilty to federal criminal charges, and the company was forced to pay millions of dollars in fines and restitution payments. The scandal sent shockwaves throughout the American honey industry and exposed just how widespread and sophisticated honey fraud operations had become. Customers who had trusted Gambers for years felt deeply betrayed when the full scope of the fraud became public. Online reviews from that period describe intense anger, profound disappointment, and serious concern about what they had actually been consuming. Some customers even reported experiencing health issues they suspected were directly related to consuming contaminated honey products. Gambers' case provides definitive proof that even well-established American honey companies with long histories can engage in deliberate, systematic fraud when profit motives override ethical business practices. If you're still watching and finding these revelations valuable, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave the number 10 in the comments below just to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you'll consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell so you don't miss any future investigations. Your support is what allows us to keep creating helpful content that protects consumers. Now let's continue. 11. Honey Solutions. Honey Solutions, which previously operated under the name Grobe Farms, was one of the largest honey suppliers operating in the United States, providing honey to major food manufacturers and retail chains. However, in 2013, the company became internationally infamous for orchestrating one of the biggest honey smuggling operations ever uncovered on American soil. Federal investigators discovered that Honey Solutions had been systematically importing enormous quantities of Chinese honey that had been deliberately and falsely labeled as originating from other countries. The honey underwent ultrafiltration to completely remove all pollen traces, making origin determination or contamination testing completely impossible. This elaborate honey laundering scheme allowed the company to avoid paying millions of dollars in legally mandated anti-dumping tariffs. The smuggling operation was extraordinarily large and sophisticated, involving multiple countries, elaborate fake documentation systems, and complex networks of shell companies. Laboratory testing discovered that some of the honey contained illegal antibiotics and heavy metals that are banned for use in the United States. Honey Solutions ultimately pled guilty to federal criminal charges and paid over $2 million in fines and penalties. The company's president also faced criminal charges personally. What makes this particular scandal especially troubling for consumers is that Honey Solutions supplied honey to numerous major food manufacturers, meaning that contaminated or fake honey ended up in literally countless products ranging from breakfast cereals to energy bars to bottled honey sold on grocery store shelves nationwide. After the scandal broke publicly, Honey Solutions changed its corporate name and restructured its operations, but the damage to consumer trust was already complete and irreversible. 12. Honey Holding. Honey Holding, which operates commercially under the Adi Honey Farms brand name, ranks among the largest beekeeping operations in the entire United States. However, during the early 2000s, Honey Holding became entangled in a major honey fraud investigation that raised serious questions about their business practices. The company was formally accused of purchasing and then reselling illegally imported Chinese honey that had been deliberately transshipped through third-party countries specifically to hide its true origin. While Honey Holding wasn't ultimately criminally charged, the company did face significant civil penalties and was legally forced to substantially change its sourcing practices and supply chain management. Laboratory testing revealed that certain honey holding products contained absolutely no detectable pollen, which is completely consistent with ultrafiltration techniques commonly used in Chinese honey laundering operations. Consumer trust in honey holding plummeted dramatically during this period. Reviews from that era consistently described the honey as tasteless, suspicious, and not resembling real honey at all. Some customers reported experiencing adverse reactions, including digestive issues, possibly resulting from contaminants or undisclosed additives. The honey holding case clearly illustrates that even large, well-established American beekeeping companies can engage in highly questionable practices when profit motives override ethical considerations and quality standards. 13. Wholesome Sweeteners. Wholesome Sweeteners deliberately positions itself as a premium organic and fair trade brand, specifically appealing to health-conscious consumers who are willing to pay substantially higher prices for superior quality and ethical sourcing. The company's honey products prominently feature organic certifications and make bold claims about ethical sourcing practices. However, independent investigations have revealed some troubling inconsistencies. Several tested batches of Wholesome Sweeteners organic honey have been found to completely lack detectable pollen, raising serious questions about their processing methods and authenticity claims. Even organic honey should always contain pollen unless it has been subjected to ultrafiltration, which contradicts the fundamental spirit of organic certification. Without any pollen present, there's absolutely no way to independently verify that the honey actually came from certified organic sources as claimed. Additionally, some honey industry experts have publicly questioned whether Wholesome Sweeteners' supply chain infrastructure can realistically support the volume of organic honey they claim to produce and sell. Authentic organic honey is extremely difficult to produce in large commercial quantities because bees can forage up to 3 miles from their hives, making it nearly impossible to guarantee they only visit certified organic flowers. Consumer reviews remain mixed. While some customers genuinely love the taste and texture, others complain that different batches taste wildly different, strongly suggesting inconsistent sourcing practices. Some reviewers have noted that the honey doesn't crystallize the way real honey naturally should. For a premium-priced organic brand making bold ethical claims, Wholesome Sweeteners' lack of transparency and questionable processing methods represent serious red flags. 14. 365 by Whole Foods. Whole Foods Market has carefully cultivated a reputation as the ultimate destination for natural, high-quality food products in America. Shoppers naturally trust the brand to curate only the absolute best products available. This made it particularly shocking when comprehensive testing revealed that 365 by Whole Foods Market honey had serious documented quality issues. Food Safety News laboratory testing found that certain 365 honey varieties contained little to absolutely no detectable pollen, clearly indicating either ultrafiltration or extremely poor sourcing practices. This discovery was particularly surprising given Whole Foods' carefully cultivated reputation for transparency and uncompromising quality standards. The honey gets sourced from multiple countries and blended together, making true origin verification genuinely difficult, if not impossible. What's especially frustrating for Whole Foods customers is that the company charges substantial premium prices for its 365 honey products, often 2 to 3 times the cost of conventional grocery store brands. Customers paying those premium prices reasonably expect superior quality and complete transparency, but they're frequently not receiving either. Some 365 honey bottles completely lack harvest dates or specific origin information, making it impossible to assess freshness or traceability. Customer reviews posted directly on Whole Foods' own website paint a telling picture. Many shoppers describe the 365 honey as genuinely disappointing, definitely not worth the premium price, and tasting essentially identical to generic store-brand honey. After initial investigations brought these issues to light publicly, Whole Foods claimed to have substantially improved its honey sourcing practices, but serious questions remain about the 365 product line. 15. Manuka Health Counterfeits. Manuka honey from New Zealand represents one of the most expensive and highly sought-after honey varieties in the entire world, prized specifically for its unique antibacterial properties and impressive health benefits. However, even this premium market segment hasn't escaped sophisticated fraud operations. The core problem isn't with genuine Manuka Health products actually produced in New Zealand. The issue is the absolutely massive global counterfeit market. Independent investigations have revealed that up to 80% of products labeled as Manuka honey sold worldwide are either completely fake or significantly adulterated. Some products, deliberately labeled as Manuka Health or using confusingly similar brand names, are actually cheap, conventional honey, blended with tiny amounts of real Manuka, or they're simply flavored syrups specifically designed to mimic Manuka's distinctive taste profile. Even some products that appear to be legitimate Manuka Health honey have been discovered to have deliberately inflated UMF ratings or highly questionable laboratory certifications. The sheer volume of Manuka honey sold globally far exceeds New Zealand's total Manuka honey production capacity, providing mathematical proof that much of what's sold is absolutely fake. Consumers paying $50 to $100 or more for a single jar may actually be receiving regular conventional honey with added artificial flavoring, or cheap Australian or Chinese honey that has been fraudulently labeled. If you're purchasing Manuka Health honey, only buy from verified, authorized retailers and personally verify the UMF certification directly through the official UMF Honey Association website. Always check for proper security seals and legitimate batch numbers before purchasing. With that comprehensive investigation complete, we've now uncovered the 15 worst honey brands currently deceiving American consumers. But don't leave yet. Next, we'll reveal the 5 best and most trustworthy honey brands you can actually rely on for guaranteed purity and authenticity. 1. Nature Nates. When discussing pure, honest honey that consistently delivers on its promises, Nature Nates stands definitively at the top of the list. This Texas-based brand has built an outstanding reputation on radical transparency and absolutely uncompromising quality standards that put virtually all competitors to shame. What makes Nature Nates genuinely exceptional is its unwavering commitment to 100% pure, raw, and completely unfiltered honey. Unlike the ultra-filtered products we've been discussing, Nature Nates honey contains clearly visible pollen and retains all the natural enzymes, powerful antioxidants, and beneficial compounds that make authentic honey a genuine superfood. The company sources exclusively from trusted, verified beekeepers and provides complete traceability for every single batch they produce. Independent laboratory testing has consistently verified that Nature Nates honey is completely authentic and totally free from any adulteration. The brand has earned True Source certified status, meaning their entire supply chain has been thoroughly audited for transparency and ethical practices. In comprehensive blind taste tests, Nature Nates consistently ranks among the absolute top honey brands for flavor complexity, natural sweetness, and authentic honey taste. Characteristics. Customers consistently describe it as having a rich, complex floral aroma with smooth, perfectly balanced sweetness that varies slightly by batch, exactly what real honey should taste like. Nature Nates is widely available in major retailers including Costco, Walmart, and Target, typically priced between $8 to $15 for a 32-ounce bottle. That represents remarkably affordable pricing for certified, pure, raw honey. If you want guaranteed pure honey that's transparent, completely traceable, and tastes incredible, Nature Nates represents the absolute gold standard. 2. Local raw honey. The absolute safest, most reliable way to purchase real honey is buying directly from local beekeepers at farmers markets, roadside stands, or through community-supported agriculture programs. When you buy local raw honey, you completely eliminate the complex international supply chains where fraud typically occurs. Local honey offers unique advantages that extend far beyond just purity and authenticity. Because the bees forage exclusively on flowers in your immediate geographic area, local honey contains local pollen, which many people believe can help significantly with seasonal allergies. The honey is typically completely raw and unfiltered, meaning it retains absolute maximum nutritional value. And you can actually talk directly to the beekeeper, ask detailed questions about their practices, potentially visit their hives, and build a genuine direct relationship. Real local honey will naturally crystallize over time, especially in cooler temperatures. This is completely normal and actually represents a good sign of authenticity. Local honey also tends to have more complex, varied flavor profiles depending on exactly what flowers the bees visited. When buying from local beekeepers, look for clear signs of authenticity. The honey should come in plain jars with handwritten or simple labels. The beekeeper should be able to tell you exactly where their hives are located. Price should reflect the genuine labor involved, typically $10 to $20 per pound. Supporting local beekeepers also helps sustain crucial pollinator populations and small-scale sustainable agriculture. Local raw honey is hands down the absolute best choice for purity, freshness, and supporting ethical beekeeping practices. 3. Kirkland Signature. Once again, Costco's Kirkland Signature brand definitively proves that you don't have to sacrifice quality for value. Kirkland Signature honey consistently ranks among the most authentic and pure honeys available in American retail stores, and it comes at an absolutely unbeatable price point. Kirkland offers several honey varieties, including raw, organic, and conventional, all of which have been independently tested and verified as completely authentic honey. Unlike many store brands, Kirkland honey contains visible pollen and retains natural enzymes and beneficial nutrients. In my comprehensive blind taste tests comparing budget-friendly honeys, Kirkland's raw honey scored exceptionally well, praised for its clean floral flavor profile and smooth texture. What truly sets Kirkland apart is its exceptional value proposition. You can purchase 3 full pounds of genuine raw honey for around $10 to $13, which represents an incredible deal compared to specialty brands charging double or triple that price. If you have a Costco membership, Kirkland Signature honey should absolutely be your default choice. 4. Wetherspoon Manuka honey. If you're specifically looking for authentic Manuka honey with verified health benefits, Wetherspoon is the most trusted brand available in the United States. Unlike the countless fake Manuka products flooding the market, Wetherspoon is absolutely the real deal. Wetherspoon sources 100% of its honey from New Zealand and works directly with specialized Kiwi beekeepers. Every jar carries a K-factor rating or UMF rating that has been independently verified by accredited laboratories. The company provides extraordinary transparency. Each jar includes batch numbers, harvest information, and QR codes that allow you to trace your honey back to specific regions in New Zealand. Yes, Wetherspoon is expensive, typically $30 to $80 per jar. But for those seeking Manuka honey's specific health benefits, Wetherspoon delivers verified quality that justifies the premium price. If you're investing in Manuka honey, don't gamble on unknown brands. 5 Mike's Hot Honey. While Mike's Hot Honey is technically a flavored honey product rather than pure raw honey, it deserves recognition for its commitment to quality ingredients and transparent sourcing. Mike's Hot Honey starts with 100% pure honey sourced from responsible beekeepers, then infuses it with chili peppers and vinegar. The company is completely transparent about its ingredients and processes, and the honey base is verified as authentic. The honey is never blended with corn syrup or artificial flavors. While you wouldn't use Mike's Hot Honey for tea, it's exceptional for cooking applications. Mike's proves that even flavored honey products can be made with complete integrity. Now that we've covered the 5 best honey brands, let's reveal the 7 essential rules for spotting fake honey. Rule number 1. Check for pollen. Real honey always contains pollen. It's one of the most reliable authenticity markers. When honey is ultra-filtered to remove pollen, it's typically done to hide the honey's true origin or disguise adulteration. According to FDA and international food standards, honey without pollen isn't technically honey at all. Most consumers won't send samples to laboratories, which is why it's crucial to buy from brands transparent about their processing. Look for labels that specifically say raw, unfiltered, or contains pollen. Avoid any honey that's crystal clear with no visible particles. Real raw honey is slightly cloudy, and may contain bits of pollen, propolis, or beeswax. Remember, ultrafiltration also strips away beneficial enzymes, antioxidants, and nutrients. Rule number 2. Perform the water test. One of the simplest authenticity tests is the water test. Fill a glass with water and add a tablespoon of honey. Real honey is denser than water and will sink to the bottom in a lump, dissolving very slowly. Fake honey or honey adulterated with sugar syrup will quickly dissolve and disperse, creating a cloudy mixture. Another variation? Put a drop of honey on a paper towel. Real honey will stay together in a bead and won't be absorbed. Fake honey will spread out and soak into the paper because of its higher water content. These simple tests help you avoid the most obvious fakes. Rule number 3. Try the crystallization test. Real, pure honey crystallizes over time. This natural process occurs as glucose forms crystals. Crystallization is actually a sign of quality and authenticity, not spoilage. If your honey has been sitting for months, showing no crystallization, that's suspicious. Some fake honey manufacturers add chemicals preventing crystallization because consumers mistakenly believe crystallized honey is bad. In reality, crystallization is your friend for verifying authenticity. If your honey does crystallize, return it to liquid form by gently warming it in a water bath. Never microwave honey, as high heat destroys beneficial enzymes. Rule number 4. Look for certifications. The easiest way ensuring you're buying real honey is looking for trusted third-party certifications. True Source Certified is one of the most important certifications. It verifies that the honey supply chain is transparent and traceable. USDA Organic Certification is another valuable seal. For Manuka honey specifically, look for the UMF seal from the UMF Honey Association or the MGO rating. Avoid honey with no certifications, vague labels like pure or natural, or labels that don't specify country of origin. Rule number 5. Check the label. Transparency is everything with honey. The best honey brands clearly list where the honey comes from and when it was harvested. Look for labels specifying single country of origin, like product of USA or product of New Zealand. Be extremely wary of product of multiple countries or packed in the USA. The harvest date or packed on date is equally important. Honey is best consumed within 18 to 24 months of harvest. Many mass market brands only list best by dates. Some premium brands now include batch numbers and even GPS coordinates of hive locations. Rule number 6. Be suspicious of cheap prices. Real, pure honey cannot be dirt cheap. Beekeeping is labor-intensive, honey production is limited by nature, and quality control costs money. As a general rule, expect to pay at least $8 to $12 per pound for authentic honey. Raw, organic, or specialty honeys like Manuka will cost significantly more. When the price seems too good to be true, it's because you're not getting real honey. Bulk buying from warehouse stores like Costco can offer good value without sacrificing quality, but no-name honey sold at dollar stores is almost certainly fake. Rule number 7, trust your senses. Your senses are powerful tools for detecting fake honey, but they're not foolproof. Real honey has a complex floral aroma varying depending on what flowers the bees visited. It should smell pleasant and natural, not artificial. When you taste real honey, you should notice layers of flavor, natural sweetness, slight floral notes, and perhaps subtle bitterness. Texture is another important indicator. Real honey is viscous and thick at room temperature. It should slowly drip from a spoon and form a ribbon-like stream. However, don't rely on senses alone. Combine sensory evaluation with the other rules we've discussed. We've covered 15 of the worst honey brands to avoid, 5 of the best ones to trust, and 7 essential rules for spotting fake honey. The takeaway is simple. Most honey in American stores isn't what it claims to be. But armed with this knowledge, you can make informed choices protecting your health and supporting honest beekeepers. Always look for verified certifications, clear origin information, visible pollen in raw honey, and brands with transparent supply chains. Remember that price matters. Real honey costs more because it requires genuine labor and resources. Don't be fooled by pretty packaging or marketing buzzwords. Demand proof. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more videos about food authenticity, safe eating, and smart shopping. Thank you for watching till the end. Tell us in the comments which honey brand do you use and how has your experience been? Have you ever suspected your honey wasn't real? Let's keep this conversation going and help more people discover the truth about what's really in their pantry.